We cross the studio. James Creedon waiting. How are you, sir?
Very
Good
well,
to
Mark.
see
Thank
you.
you.
You've been looking at online accusations that Emmanuel Macron is greenwashing.
That's right. So he was in the Alps, Mont Blanc today, Chamonix as well, all in a bid, well, partly to draw attention to climate change and its impact on the Alps, which are actually more impacted than other parts of the world when it comes to global warming, for reasons scientists haven't fully understood. But just some statistics on that. In the past 100 years, the number of hours that sunshine hits the mountains each year has increased by 20%. So you can see the effects on one of the major glaciers here in the Alps, and that's in about 100 years. It's really completely receded, Mark.
It's a massive difference, isn't it?
It is a massive difference in 100 years, and I suppose that the reality is that some of it might be down to multiple causes, because it is more impacted than other parts of the world. But there you go. This article, for example, recently in The Guardian points to the fact that the ski industry is really it's extinction stuff, possibly for the industry, according to one quote in that article. So Emmanuel Macron was there, and all in a bid to draw attention to this on the Mer de Glace glacier, and he shared an image similar to the ones that I showed you there in the Nouvel Observateur website, where you see the kind of before and after, if you like. And he says, well, this is what we are fighting. Now, there were responses to that, people saying, well, in 2017, you came out with there was the slogan, "Make our planet great again." But actually in 2020, and there's a kind of a gap. In other words, where is the action following up on the words? And the expression used for that quite often, not in the case, it's an expression that exists actually since the 1980s, is greenwashing. In other words, where policies aren't necessarily what would you say, as strong enough as the rhetoric.
It's lip service, basically. Saying one thing, doing another.
Exactly. Yeah. And this has been an accusation that has followed him since this is an article going back to 2018. Is Macron really committed to the environmental cause? You'll remember, of course, Mark, his environment minister, Nicolas Hulot, stepped down after just 1 year.
Yeah.
And he's a big environmental figure here in France, a journalist and activist. And so there was a lot of that online today, people sort of calling him on policy matters. And so, we won't get into the nitty gritty of all of that, but let's just say that greenwashing was used in headlines, it was used in tweets and whatnot. So Emmanuel Macron is a little bit damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, because he's trying to make, I suppose, moves in the right direction here. But some people are saying we want to see real policy changes. And with your economic policies, we're not sure that that's what's actually needed for fundamental ecological reform.
Okay, so he's been to the Mer de Glace, or the Sea of Ice. I've been to that very same point in Chamonix. It is absolutely fantastic and still very impressive. And down in the town, you see the glacier sort of hanging over the top of the mountain.
Must get there.
Wow, it's amazing.
Have not been.
And of course, he was wearing a very natty skiing outfit. He's been tackled over the cost of that. Let's take a look at him.
Just by way of saying, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So this is how he was. The Closer magazine was saying,
because you would dress up in winter clothes to go to that venue. Of course you would.
And it cost €1,000. The jacket and €450 the trousers, but they were made in France. So I've just put from the point of view saying that everything he did when he was there, not just big matters of policy, was scrutinised, sometimes in a way that's maybe a bit excessive. I don't know. Don't you have to get dressed up in warm clothes?
Well, you do, but I suppose you got to look at where it's from. So it's French. Right. Good. Yes. What's he going to do with it afterwards? Is he going to give it to a charity, or I don't know?
Maybe
he'll tell us.
We'll find
Tell
out.
us about this French mayor who was freed from prison yesterday. He's in the spotlight, but not as much as his wife.
Patrick Balkany, mayor of Lavallois. He was given 4 years of prison for tax fraud. It was a very high-profile case of a French politician going to prison back in September. After 5 months, he was released under health difficulties. This is the photo of his wife, Isabelle Balkany. They're a power couple in French politics, waiting for him to be released from prison. Now,
it's normal to get people. I mean, I know about these things. It's normal to get people waiting for you on the outside when you get released from prison. It's normal, Well, what's the implication, James?
Well, there is no implication really, except people thought the photo was sort of intriguing. There she is, sitting on the hood of the car, and she's kind of with her remote. She's looking very cool. She's looking like David Bowie meets sort of a very cool woman. I don't know. In any case, look, lots of people were Grand Theft Auto. The point being, they're known for corruption, and so it went Grand Theft Auto there again. The image went totally wild, but the photographer suspects that she knew what she was doing, Mark, because she was there for 20, 30 minutes smoking cigarettes, phone calls. So did she want it? Did she want the photo to be taken?
Fisk and furious, I saw that.
Because actually, sometimes people will come up with stuff that's flattering.
It's classy, that, isn't it? It's very nice.
I'll shut up now.
Just getting some fashion tips from Sean Connery. That's great. Thank you very much indeed, James. James Creed with the Media Watch. It's always an eye-opener. Great to see you,
Thanks,
sir.
Mark.